Hello all, in this video I'm gonna show you how to work effectively and efficiently with Fahrschulcard app. This is the app used for preparing for your German driving license theory exam. Open your web browser and type fahrschulcardapp.de, and this is the web page of the Fahrschulcard app. Here you can see that this app can be downloaded from your Google Play Store and Apple Store. So this is compatible with both Android and Apple devices. Here we see blog, Fahrlehrer, Fahrschule, login and Registrieren. Fahrlehrer is for the login of your Fahrschule, and Fahrschule is yours, and login is when you have already your account details, then you can log in with those details. Registrieren is for the new user. That means you have to log in with the details given by your Fahrschule for the first time. Since I already have an account, I'm going to just log into my account. So this is the login page, which is Anmelden. So I'm going to give my details. Here you see that you can choose the language between English and German. You can also register with your register or log in with your Facebook account. Konto erstellen, which means you are a new user and you have to register for an account. I'm going to give login and Melton. Page you arrive at once you log in. Your name can be seen at the top of the page if you are already a registered user. Here you see Cockpit, Statistik, Learn System and Einstellung. This is the Cockpit area where you can see how many Vorprüfung, that is the model test you have taken up, and the question list, the name of your Fahrschule and the opening timings of them, and everything is shown on the Cockpit. So statistics is how far you have worked with the app. Learn system is where you learn your theory. Einstellungen is the settings. Now I'll show you what is there in the settings if you are a first time user. So Benutzer is the user. So you will have to give in your name and all those credentials and your address and your email ID. Your phone number is also there, and it's also given like the code, the validity, and everything is here. And log out if you want to log out. Now we move to statistics. Statistics shows you the same thing like the Cockpit, but in a more detailed way, like how far you have worked with the app. Like I have 95% of the questions to the exam level, and right questions is like 0%, and wrong questions is like 2% of the questions I have answered it wrong. Unanswered questions are like 3%. So the total number of questions is seen here, 1139. Now let's move on to Learn System. Learn System has many subdivisions like Übungsbogen, which means your model test or your practice test, and Vorprüfung is the real model test which you can take like your exam, and Turbo modules is you don't have to do that. Fragenliste is where the questions are listed, and Kategorien, here the questions are divided into different categories. Lektionen, it's again like the questions are divided into categories based on some topics. Merkliste is if you mark some questions like important or you want to revise it again, then it comes under Merkliste. This is how your Übungsbogen looks like. That is your practice material. This is your practice material actually. Here you see that for the basic knowledge you have 20 questions. Once you finish this 20 questions, the next set of 10 questions will appear, which is like extra knowledge. So here you see that there are 30 questions in total. Now we see how the Vorprüfung looks. This is how the Vorprüfung looks, that is your model test looks like this. So here again you have basic knowledge and extra knowledge. So 20 questions from basic knowledge and 10 questions from extra knowledge. So Turbo modules, as I told you, it is not for class B, so it is for something else, so you can skip that. Fragenliste, here you see the list of questions. So this is not categorized actually, this is just a list. So now if you click on unanswered question, here you can see it is in gray. which means these questions are not answered. For me, the other things were in green or red or yellow because I have already worked with it. For the beginners, it will be only in gray. It means that you have never worked with this app. And green means it is like prüfungsreif. You mean like you are ready for the exam. When it is both are green. Now let's check for incorrect questions. Incorrect questions shows you in red. So red means I have answered these questions wrong. So it shows me in red. And one time correctly answered questions, so it shows you in green. I have answered this question once right. So one of the dot is in green and the other is in gray because only once I have answered this question right. So what is prüfungsreif? Prüfungsreif means the questions which are answered twice right. So those are the prüfungsreif Fragen. Zahlenfragen. What means like Zahlenfragen? The answers will be of numbers. So for example, you click this question. So this is a Zahlenfragen. Why do we save it as a Zahlenfragen? Is that it is the answer has a number. So for example, this question is like you want to use an autobahn. To allow you to do so, what specific maximum speed must be entered in part 1 of the registration certificate or in the operating license? So the answer is a number. So I give a number here. So it is like more than 60 km/h. And I say Auswerten. So my answer is right and it shows you in green when it is right. If it is going to be wrong, it shows you in red. So this is a Zahlenfragen. So Variantenfragen. What a Variantenfragen is like how you should behave in a traffic situation comes under Variantenfragen, or what you should do in a traffic situation is a Variantenfragen. Bildfragen. Bildfragen is where you have some images. For example, here you see an image, so that is a build. They have asked how you should behave in this situation. So how do you behave is like you have to watch out for children and you have to be ready to brake. And the other option, continue driving at the same speed. No, that's not right. So I have chosen two options. So for a question, there may be possible like 3 answers might be right, or 2 answers might be right, or there might be only one answer which is right. So if in case you have all 3 possible answers to be selected, then you have to select all 3 possible answers. Only then your answer is right. If you choose only 2 out of the 3 right answers, then you are going to have only a wrong answer. So now I have chosen these 2 answers. I'm going to check if my answer is right. Yes. So this question had 2 possible answers and my answer was right. And next we move on to Videofragen, where you have a video. So now let's check that now. So this is a video question, and here you see a video. Only after you see the video, your question will appear. So you can see a video for maximum of 4 times, and then you can go to the question. So if you have seen the video only for twice and you want to answer the question, then too you can go and answer the question. Now I'm going to start the film. You can also maximize the window. So have a close look at the situation. You're driving and there is a bus in front and the bus is at the Haltestelle. So we'll try to look at the video once again. There are no vehicles behind. There is a truck coming in front, and then you have a bus going in front of you. It is there in the Haltestelle, that is the bus stop, and there are passengers who want to get in the bus. And this is the situation. Now I have watched the video twice. Let me try to answer the question with this. So I click go to question. So here it shows you can watch the film a total of 3 times. So it means I have watched the video only once completely. I have 3 more chances to watch the video. But now I go to the question. I give fortfahren, which means go ahead. What must you be aware of in this particular situation? What you have to do? So I have to be aware of the pedestrians who could cross the road. I must not drive past the bus, or I may drive past the bus at a walking speed. I would choose I may drive past the bus at a walking speed because the bus is at a halt and the left indicator is not on. When the left indicator is on, it means that the bus is gonna move. Then I would have chosen I may not drive past the bus because the bus is gonna leave the bus stop. So now I have chosen these two answers. Let me check if it is right. Yes, I have the right answer. So this is how you have to look at a video question and then answer. Now let's move on. Here is the notepad. So notepad is where like you can note the questions which you want to do it again, or you have to mark something about a question or something, then you can use the notepad. Neue Fragen is that when the app gets updated, then you get the new questions updated too. So you have to look for the Neue Fragen too when you prepare for the exam, or when you are ready, even before the day of the exam, you have to just check that if there are any new questions. And bearbeitet seid, so here you can give the particular date from when you have worked. So it shows you the questions like from this day. I have given some sample day, and it shows the questions which were worked from this date. Okay, now let's move on. Now it's the category in. Again, yeah, here you have these two categories like basic knowledge and extra knowledge. So this is how your exam material will appear. That is, you will have 20 basic knowledge questions and 10 questions from extra knowledge. This basic knowledge question is again divided into subdivisions like Gefahrlehre, which means hazard driving. That means Verhalten in Straßenverkehr, how we have to behave in the traffic situation. Vorfahrt, Vorrang, it is the priority. Verkehrszeichen is the signboards. Umweltschutz is the environmental protection. Technik, Fahrbetrieb, Fahrphysik and Fahrtechnik, they are like something to do with your car. Eignung and Befähigung von Kraftfahrern. So what qualification you have for the driving, that is Eignung and Befähigung. On extra knowledge also has something similar to that. And now we see a question under Gefahrlehre. Gefahrlehre again has many subdivisions. So where you will have problem with your driving. For example, when you drink alcohol or when you take drugs and medicamenta, then you will have problems. So that is hazard driving. So I will click on this particular subdivision. So I have a question: which substance can impair fitness to drive in a similar way to alcohol? So I would say certain medicines and intoxicants, because a cup of tea or coffee is not going to affect you. So let's check auswerten, which means evaluate. I give evaluate. Yeah, my answer is right. So now let's move on to something else like Verkehrszeichen. Verkehrszeichen, or the signboards, are normally there on the roads when you drive, and you have to be clear with these signs when you drive. So what do you do when you see this traffic sign? So this means I have to reduce the speed. I have to be ready to brake. Observe the traffic coming from the right only. So I'm going to check all these three, and I'm going to check if I will have a right answer or wrong answer. I say evaluate. I have a wrong answer now, because I should not only look for the traffic from the right, I have to be ready for the traffic from any side with this Verkehrszeichen. So my answer is wrong. You can add this to the Merkliste, that is zur Merkliste means since I have made a mistake in this question, you can put it in the Merkliste, and then you can go through these questions which you have answered it wrong again. So now I move on to the next question. What should you remember when you see this traffic signs? So braking distance is greater on the downhill slope than on the level ground. The brake becomes more efficient when no gear is selected. The brakes become less efficient with prolonged use. So I'll click on one of the option and I'll check. Again, I have wrong, because this question had two possible answers, but I selected only one. So this means that you have to select both the possible answers right, only then your answer is right. Otherwise, you have 0 points for that particular question. So this is how you answer the questions. Now we move on to Lektionen. So Lektionen again is divided into subdivisions like this. So there are like many subdivisions, and some have questions from some other class of driving license. So here it is like Personenliste Voraussetzungen, which means personal requirement, and Risikofaktor means if you are if you are a risk factor to the people. Rechtliche Rahmenbedingungen is like what you have to do with the registration process, like when you're buying from another person, what you have to do with TÜV and how you have to register and so. And Straßenverkehrssystem und seine Nutzung, it's the traffic system and how you use them. Vorfahrt is the priority. Verkehrsregelung und Verhalten, the traffic rules and how you have to behave there. Verkehrszeichen, Verkehrseinrichtung und Bahnobergänge. So these are the signboards, the signs, and Bahnobergänge as when you have a Straßenbahn, that is a tram, or a railway crossing, that is your Andreotskreuz, they say. So it's about that. Andere Teilnehmer in Straßenverkehr is that the others who drive with you, maybe a cyclist or someone driving in another car or a truck or something. That is those people are the andere Teilnehmer in Straßenverkehr. Geschwindigkeit and Abstand, how much speed you have to maintain in an Autobahn or in a land area or inside the city, and how much distance you should maintain between a cyclist and you. And these questions come under Geschwindigkeit und Abstand. Verkehrsverhalten bei Fahrmanövern und Verkehrsbeobachtung is like how carefully you have to watch out for the other vehicles on the road, that is Verkehrsbeobachtung. Ruhender Verkehr or the stationary vehicles. So when you go in an Einbahnstraße, maybe there is Einbahnstraße is a one-way road, and maybe there are parked cars on the road, and how you have to behave comes under this Ruhender Verkehr. Verhalten in besondere situation is like you have a special situation and how you have to act. Lebenslange Lernen und Folgen von Verstoßen. So this means that what you have to know for your entire life when you drive, and what happens if you make a mistake. Those questions come under this. So now let's see like Ruhender Verkehr, for example. So this again has many subdivisions like Halten und Parken, Einrichtungen, so Überwachung der Parkzeit, Schleppen von Fahrzeugen. Abschleppen is like towing. You want to tow another vehicle with your car, what must you know? So you must at least have a driving class permit B, or you must have at least a driving permit class B. So as far as I know, it's enough if you have a driving class permit B. So I'm gonna check this answer, and then yeah, I have answered it right, so it appears in green. Then the Merkliste, I have added these questions to the Merkliste because I want to go through these questions again before my Prüfung, so I have put them under Merkliste. Let's see the Übungsbogen now, how you answer the questions. So I'll quickly answer the questions, and let's see how it is gonna evaluate my answer. What can help save fuel and reduce pollution? So using public transport and bicycle whenever possible. So paying attention to fuel consumption of the motor vehicle when buying it. Contributing to the constant flow of traffic by thinking ahead and driving correspondingly. So I'm gonna check all these three answers because I think they are all right. And here you have to note that this question has 3 points. And next question, this is a video question, and the video questions mostly carry 5 points. I'm gonna start the film. I'm gonna maximize the window. Have a close look at the situation. Here you see both the mirrors, your right and the left mirrors, and the central mirror. And you have to watch out for the situation. For me, I think I have watched the video enough, and I'm gonna answer the question. So I say go to question, and also here it shows me you can watch the film a total of 4 times. I say Vorfahrten. Why are you required to stop here? So they ask you why you should stop here, because of the cyclist, because there is a cyclist here, and because of him I have to definitely stop. Now I'm done with all the 20 questions, so I move on to the next question, and here you see other 10 questions. This is from the extra knowledge. So when you finish the 10 questions, your results will appear. So now I have answered all 30 questions. If you want to change the answer, you can go to previous question and then change the answer, or you can click on the question and then change the answer. If you still want to change the answer for the first set of 20 questions, you go to the first question of the extra knowledge and then click previous question, and then your first 20 questions appear here, and then click and then change your answers if you wish. And now I'm going to give submit and check how far I'm successful with my test. So it asks me if you want to submit. Ja, Bogen beenden. Unfortunately, I was not successful because I have answered many questions wrong here, which means you are allowed to make mistakes only for 9 points. If you make mistakes for 10 points, then are not gonna be successful. So in total, I have lost 19 points. So the result is nicht bestanden. If you have been successful with the test, it would have shown you bestanden. So I have made mistake with 2 4 points question and 1 3 point question in my first part, and in the next part I have made mistake with 1 2 point question and 2 3 points question. So total it makes like 19 points, which is a very bad result. So I'll show you how it looks like when you are right with all your answers, which I took already, which is a model test. Here I was right with all the questions, so everything is in green, so it is 0 points, which is the best result, and it shows you like bestanden, which means you have passed the test. So I will show you another test where I have missed 3 points. Here I have missed only 3 points, and again it is like I have passed the test because it was only 3 points and not more than 10. So I have passed the test. So this is how you work with the Fahrschul app, and you can choose your preferred languages when in the settings. Like you go quickly to Sprache, and here you see different languages in German, Italianish, English, Portuguese, or whatever you wish. So my preferred language was English, so I chose English and I set save. So we are done with the exams. So I'll give you some other important tips which you have to know when you use this app. So for example, I click this question, I read the question, but I don't find it easy for me to find the answer. So here you have some options like help or solution, question details, notepad, Variante, Vollbild, Vorlesen and Übersetzen. Help solution means like it will give you the answer and also it will give an explanation for you in German. So it has given me the right answer, so I can know the answers now, and there is an explanation too for the particular answer, but this is only in German. It is not given in English. If you want, you can translate it, or this is also useful to know a few words in German, which is more useful when you are doing your practicals. And then you have question details. So here it shows how many times I have worked with this particular question. I have answered this question 3 times wrong, 12 times right, and 1 time I have looked for the help, so it shows me in yellow. And then there is a notepad. When I click notepad, it goes to the Merkliste automatically. Variate is like you can shuffle the question, but here it is not possible for me. Full build is you can maximize the screen. And then Vorlesen is available only in German. If you are using the app in German, it's gonna read the question for you. Übersetzen is like it will translate the question into German. If you're using in any other language, it will show you the German version of it. So I have answered this question with help, so it shows me a time. So in another 3 minutes and 52 seconds, I can answer the question again. So this is what is shown here. So this help section is really useful to know a lot about a particular situation, and also it is in German, so it helps you a lot with your practicals. This is all about your Fahrschulcard app, and this is how you can use it effectively. And here is a section where you can search for the question. If you know some keywords, you can just quickly give it in this search box and then look for the question. All about the app. And thanks for watching. I hope the video was helpful. If you find the video helpful, like, share and subscribe to Connectify SkillMate. See you in the next video.